Well, we know in our Faith in Action series, which this is the last week of this year's Faith in Action series, we have artists who provide a pictorial representation through their art for the theme of the week. And so we have two magnificent artists today, Carolyn Cochran and Ellen Springwind. And I'm going to read the statement from Carolyn first for her piece of art. And she calls it the Acorn's Birthday. Yes. And here's what Carolyn writes. Eric Butterworth states that life is a flowing process, and every person is a specialized channel for that flow. I would add that every living thing is a specialized channel for that flow. He also states that life is a continuum, not a discrete series of breaks. That old age should be a summation of the whole, a flowering experience of fulfillment. On my morning walks, I've been noticing all the acorns dropping from the oak trees. I got to thinking about their process and realized they beautifully illustrate being in the flow of life and living their purpose fully. The acorn gives birth to the oak tree, while the oak tree gives birth to the acorn. Each carries the blueprint for the other. Given the right conditions, the acorn gives birth to the divine idea of the oak tree. They are both in the flow of birth, growth, and rebirth. The cycle is ageless, but the acorn and the oak tree are alive as a dynamic channel for the flow of the divine creative process. The acorn lives life from inside out. It has a goal greater than itself. The oak tree is the ageless outcropping of the life of the acorn. In this mixed media gourd sculpture, you can see the young acorn and its shared purpose with the mature oak tree. They are ageless and one in the flow. As Eric Butterworth says, life is a flow, not a dead-end street. The Acorn's Birthday by Carolyn Cochran. And now we have Ellen Springwind, and she did an art piece based on the second chapter of this week on life, death, and rebirth. And here's what she writes. Over the flow of my life, I've experienced many cycles of death, rebirth, and reemergence as someone new. As Eric Butterworth says, often the darkness is the prelude to a dawn of light, and tragic loss opens out into growth and gain as all things work together for good. I chose to illustrate this never-ending cycle with the mushrooms. Nature is our powerful teacher, showing us the many ways death leads to a new life. In the forest, mushrooms are the recyclers and help to maintain biodiversity. They provide needed nutrients to the old and young trees through an underground network of tiny roots called mycelium. The fungi also help break down and compost the stressed and dead trees. They are part of a complex nutrient cycle that is vital to regeneration in a healthy forest ecosystem. In these ways, they give their forces to life, death, and rebirth. In the flowing experience of life, change is constant reality. In every change, we see evidence of the process of death and rebirth. Every night, the sun sets. We go to sleep and wake up to daylight and the hope and promise of the new day. All throughout our lives, there is a death of that which was and the birth of that which now is. Butterworth urges us to perceive life in a way that actually includes death, knowing that on the other side of birth is a flow of life that has come to pass. And on the other side of death is a flow of life that leads to new birth. He invites us to get the sense of being radiantly alive in a continuing and eternal experience in the flow. Ellen Springwind.
One heart,